mindfuck. Man, this is crazy town. Okay. I'm like actually holding this myself. Oh my god, it's crazy. Okay, so I really hope this lets me go on, because some things to do tonight. So this is the closet in my basement. It's the boiler room. Can you see? You can't see. It's so dark, right? The boiler room. It's a dark place. Maybe sort of. I'm really messing with this because I'm holding it myself. So I'm in the boiler room, the closet, in my basement, and I am trying to, because it feels right to, honor a great process that feels like it's time to fall back in. Where am I looking? This isn't working for me. I don't like this. This isn't what I want. Like, let me tell you something. It's a thing. Okay, because I don't know where to look. Oh, motherfucker. Upright. Fuck. Without brace. Damn it all to hell. You know, I tried to set up this boiler room of mine with candles and make it like really full of light, and tell you a story, which I'm still going to tell. And then some guy came in, because he's difficult, you know, and hard to work with sometimes, and took all my candles away and my blanket away and made it barren again. And so I saw that just now, coming down here to do this, and I thought, well, okay, I have to work with it then. So we'll just do it like this. I had everything set up like where I could put the phone, and it was gonna be well lit. But I guess that's not the point really, because I think the light isn't light. It's our hearts and mine. And so this is fine with me, although just deeper and deeper and more imperfect. Fucking motherfucker, like seriously, this is so wacko. I'm just messing this up right and left. It is time to fall back into place. And I guess that place is whatever it is. But, you know, fall back into the fold, I guess. I know. So I want to tell you a story, and it's important to do that tonight in my boiler room, in the closet that's dark, in my basement, but also, by the way, in the threshold of my closet. The door's open, you know, it's not closed. It's just, this is my boiler room in the basement. And I want to tell you a story, and God, I hope this lets me go on, because it's going to be a bit. I'm going to duck out of you for a minute, so that you guys can be in the dark. If anyone's watching it, and just listen to my voice. And I'll be back, but I'm just going to duck out of you for a second and talk and tell you a story that I know. Okay? Okay. This is a story that's well known throughout all the world. It will be familiar to you, but I hope that you still enjoy my telling of it. Long ago, there was a primitive tribe, a village, ancient really, that lived on a thriving, exotic, tropical island. They would drum and sing together. They would pound drums. They would fetch food together, pick crops, build huts, gather water. They were a gorgeous people who knew well how to live off of their rich and fruitful land. And each member of this village, this tribe, knew well what his or her job was, and they devotedly played their part. It was a community, and they worked together so that they could be together. There was the village chief and his wife, and they had a daughter, a young woman, and she was the one intended to inherit the very role of chieftress. She was intended to lead her people. But as the time came closer and closer to this, she began to wrestle with enormous conflict. The thing was, she loved her island and her people so very much, but she had always been drawn away from them at the same very time that she loved them so much. She had always been drawn out further and further into the sea that they had ever dared to go before, or so she thought. She didn't know why. She didn't know why she was drawn to this. She felt completely torn and so deeply troubled by what it was that was inside of her, demanding that she leave the comfort of her own people, her home, that she abandon it, really, so that she follow the growing voice inside of her, telling her to set sail, to leave, to voyage, to explore, to do something more. Her father, of course, the village chief, worried for her, tried very hard to convince her away from her preoccupation with the sea and what may well lead behind it. Oh my gosh. Beyond it and behind it. Wow. Horizons Crossing, Truman Show. Sorry. Not a great storyteller yet. Okay, but the feeling inside this young woman, it just kept building. It was building so much to the point of boiling over. And it was then, right in the midst of that her grandmother died. Right in the midst of her grandmother dying. The earth, its prosperous land, which her people lived off of and depended on, also began to wither, die. Food became scarce, rotten, and the tribe began to struggle greatly. It was her grandmother who had somehow, always, ever so subtly, supported this desire in her to become who she really is and to give herself over to the great journey that would bring her all the way into herself and back to her people again. It was upon her grandmother's death that the young woman became unable to refuse her destiny any longer. She knew it meant leaving home, going in search of what may somehow restore her home. She felt herself called to an ocean cavern on the far side of the island, one she'd not ever explored before, and she went there. She found her way inside, and to her amazement, yet it was also to her confirmation, there was a hidden treasure trove of ships. Her people had journeyed before. They did voyage. And these ships had been left hidden from her in this open cavern, elusive and asleep. It was time. So, she chose a ship. No, a small wooden boat that suited her. And she set sail to see what may lie beyond the horizon, which could restore life. Restore life to the land that was dying all around her. And sometimes, somehow and sometimes she couldn't even get beyond the coral reef. But she knew somehow that she would have to confront that death that was killing the life she and her people knew and starving them all in turn. She knew somehow that she would have to face the wrath of what must be amended. She knew that she was voyaging to restore the unrestorable. And because of that strange inner knowing, it became possible to restore the unrestorable. There were many failures and much difficulty along her journey. Those southern seas are full of surprises and storms and creatures and waves. Shiny turtles, tortoises, turtles, huge waves. And gods, difficult ones, with an artful body, magical artful body, and the gift of shape shifting, who are stubborn and insecure, and sometimes self-involved and unresponsive. Gods who are half man, who feel lonely and resentful. God-man, who is half wanting to help and half wanting not to. God-men who hook and catch and come to serve in the end. They do. The end, of course, is also the beginning, because it is that great battle, the face-to-face confrontation with the very destruction of the earth, the entirety of her wrath, that comes to the most mysterious of endings. The young woman invites her in and touches her great heart, reminding her that she has one, that she is the heart of the earth. And so, the great she, our Mother Earth, became herself again, sprouting life and offering it freely. And our young woman, who journeyed through all of this, these deep, uncharted waters, and healed great God-men along the way, then eagerly returned to her people, her place, where she was no longer perceived as difficult or unruly, but she was celebrated, for she had brought back with her a new, bountiful earth. And her ancient village now was able to explore it together and always know how to find their way back home. And the young woman became woman, her people's chief of trees, or chieftress, their leader, their passionate leader. And so imagine now that she was white. Just a white girl. A white woman. A white witch. Just white. Ancient. White. And she left the dark because it saved her and renewed her entire life. So I'm gonna go. I like my boiler room. It's pretty fierce in here. I like my threshold too, and my back door, my yard full of hay back there. The last thing I want to say is, I know this is so raw right now. I mean, it really is actually this not refined. Is happy birthday, a little early. to that stone child I love so well. And I had candles here to make a wish for this birthday. And they're not here anymore, so it's time to just make it here with the light inside my own heart. And that wish is come my bow, 5 and 4.